So, hello and welcome to Lockdown Learning. And in this episode, we're going to talk all about fitness under lockdown. I'm joined by Ben Eddis and Poppy Kettlewell from the sports department. So, we'll start straight off. Why is staying active so important for students whilst we learn remotely?
Okay, so I'll take this one. First of all, it's all about improving health or just getting out there and moving. That's going to promote us to be happier, healthier. It's going to release some stress. So we're going to replace that hormone balance where we've been sat down being all groggy. Suddenly we get up, we move, we get some fresh air and change of scene. And just walking around, it's good for things like our bone health. So obviously we're still learning, so we're still children. And so we need to make sure our development continues despite the fact that we're in lockdown. If we get out for a walk once a day, those impacts can still help our developing and growing body, and therefore we still develop properly as we should.
That's great. Thank you very much. What are we providing at Ipswich School?
Okay, so there's a lot going on with the program. We've got sort of different sections that we lead. We've got a big section of live sessions. So, for example, we have sessions just for years 9 to 11. One of those is a girls only session. Some of them are just anyone could jump on. We also do live sessions for the year 7s and 8s. And on top of that, we've got some live workshop-based sessions around jumping and landing, maybe for sort of netballers or anyone in jumping and landing-based activities. And then we also do live recovery sessions as well. And then external to the live sessions, there's also stuff that we've uploaded onto the YouTube. So like a speed school where you can follow it at home in your own time, where you might need a bit more space. And so you can follow it along on a device, you can see it, do it, and make improvements there.
Sounds really exciting. And what are your top tips for staying motivated and healthy?
So we know that we're only human. It's really important to remember that, and not every day you're going to wake up and feel 100% motivated to engage completely in your lessons, and from our perspective to engage in the remote athletic development. So what we recommend is just getting up and moving your body for 5 minutes in between each lessons. That could be getting up and walking around the house, going and getting a drink, going in the garden, and perhaps on a lunch break, taking a dog for a walk if you have one, just to loosen yourself up, to relieve yourself from any stress, and just to get some fresh air, because that is in itself really beneficial. Another thing we really recommend is keeping in touch with your family and friends. It's very easy in this lockdown period to feel slightly disconnected because we're not having that one-to-one human contact. So even just dropping a friend a message just to check in, say hello, calling a grandparent, calling a cousin or an auntie or someone you haven't spoken to in a long time, just to remind them that you're there, and you're there to support them and they're there to support you. Another thing we'd recommend is having a designated workspace that is separate from your family space and sleep space. So something like an office or just another room that you're not going to spend most of your day in, just so that you can differentiate from where you're going to work and where you're going to rest, and there's not that overlap. Because you can sometimes find that if there is that overlap, perhaps when you go to bed, you're thinking, but when I get up in the morning, I'm just going to take 5 steps and that's where I'm going to work, at my desk in my room, and you can't escape from that work environment. And then one more thing is just taking time to develop yourself. This we feel is the real crux of this whole interview, because it's really important to make the most of this time we have. I know it's very difficult. We're in a very weird time. We haven't got all the facilities that we usually have, but what we do have is time with family and time with ourselves that you won't get back. So it's really important to do things to make you feel as relaxed, as calm as possible, but equally to keep your spirits high. Even if you're not going to be striving for elite athletic performance right now, you can still be doing things to tick over exercise, to improve random skills at home. You know, you might discover you can do a 5-minute headstand, or you can bake the most amazing cake. You know, just find little things that you wouldn't usually do while you're at school. Make the most of the time you have.
Thank you. That sounds really inspiring. So can you just talk me through a little bit about if I do want to develop myself, how I set those goals?
So in terms of goal setting, if we make it specific to what we want, so don't just have something vague, you need to specify what it is, whether it be, for example, learn your 2 times tables is specific to the 2 times tables, but then also make it have a purpose. So why do we want to have that goal? If we give it a purpose, it's suddenly got meaning. If it's got meaning, we're more likely to get out and do it. Keep it simple and do it well. There's no point having an elaborate roadmap of how we're going to get there if we can't follow it. If we keep the road straight, simple path, we can have then tick off boxes when we're on our way, and we can measure it and then take small steps. So if it's a new skill you want to learn, start out really basic. Master the little basics. Again, we're doing things well, we're keeping it simple, and then we build on top of that and build on top of that and build on top of that until we've reached our overall goal and we've developed ourselves. And that could be anything from a skill to a language, whatever we've got. We're not going to get this time back. We've got more time than we would normally. Use it. Set these small goals, linear progression, and aim just to chip away at it. Small sections.
What about when it all just feels a bit too much? Maybe it's cold. I've left it a bit late. It's a bit dark. Do I just give up for the day?
This is the time of day where you can just try something completely different. So we're not expecting you every day, like I said before, to get up, smash some crazy workout, push yourself right to the edge. It doesn't need to be that hard. And I think that's what people forget is little movement, and just ticking it over is just as beneficial. So things like, and this ties in with the personal development and progression, doing some stretching or some yoga and actually looking after your body, because whilst we're stuck inside and we're not exerting ourselves potentially as much as we ordinarily would if we were running around all day at school, everyone is still learning. We're still being mentally stimulated and challenged every day. So it's important that we look after ourselves and really take the opportunity to recover and relax. So things like some stretching, some yoga, some mobility. As Ben said, we've got mobility sessions live, but also recorded on the YouTube channel, so people can find some ideas or inspiration if they wish. But also things that stimulate our brain in a different way. So perhaps reading or cooking, or something that we've been doing a lot at the moment is doing jigsaw puzzles. Just something to take your mind off everyday stress. And it doesn't need to be really difficult, and don't overthink it is what I'd say. Just do something that makes you feel like you've accomplished something for the day. Perhaps tying in with the goal setting, set yourself the goal of doing one new thing every day, with a view to improving that skill or with a view to having an end goal.
So I've been reading your recipes in the occasional. They're absolutely delicious, and I've had loads of feedback about how easy they are to make. What's this all about?
So the aim of the game with that was to try and tap into something that students ordinarily wouldn't be doing in their day-to-day life if they were at school. And nutrition is something very important to me, and it's something that I think is neglected in schools because we're just provided our food every day and we sort of take it for granted. So I think it's a really important skill to teach all the students, from the young ones who will be able to carry that through all the rest of their years at school, to the sixth form who are potentially looking to move on to university, where they will need these fundamental skills and be able to cook. So providing them with the tools they may need in the future. And it's also a really good opportunity for students to engage with their parents, because I know that everyone will find that when you spend too much time with your family or with friends, sometimes it can get a little bit difficult and you need to switch things up. So doing things like cooking together is a really nice activity that you can do. And again, it's finding a new skill. It's acquiring some new knowledge that perhaps you never knew you had, and it's allowing you all to just embrace a new lease of creativity.
Thank you. Yeah. So of course we bring in the cooking for university in the Edge in the sixth form, but actually you're saying start in year 7.
Yeah.
Just get on with it and do it with your family. Try something new. Thank you very much. So I've got one more question for you both. So we all know that parents are also working from home, that they're juggling children working, them working. How do parents stay active?
Similarly to the kids, they've got their own routines going on. They have work from a set time. If it's from home, if not, and they're still able to go into work, they've still got that set routine there. Just find time within that routine. Maybe embed it as a family thing. So if you've all got the same time off, maybe it's in the morning, maybe it's after work and after school. Why don't you, as a family, do something? So whether you join into a session together or you go out on a dog walk, set a family challenge. Currently, there isn't a lot of travel, so maybe let's pick a destination we would have gone to, and let's see how we can make it to that destination. Whether we cycle there, we run there, we clock up the distance, and it's a kind of family challenge. We can't go on holiday, but we can cover the distance that we would have done to get there. And then again, just try and stay motivated. Like as a parent, you're that leadership role within the house, and everyone's looking up to you for inspiration. Even though you've never been through this situation before, because no one has, this lockdown, you need to kind of lead from the front. So you've got to stay positive and try and keep yourself motivated to then motivate your family. And I think if you're able to do that and create almost an energy around just being at home and try and be upbeat, that the rest of the family will follow, and hopefully the environment will be nicer.
And definitely just get creative, as we said, and keep reiterating the point. It doesn't need to be overly strenuous or vigorous exercise. Something as silly as putting on some music and just dancing around the house. The endorphins you get from that are second to none. So just, get creative, get a bit silly with it. It doesn't need to be really hard work, just something to lift the mood, get those endorphins going, and just get some movement into your day.
That's been really interesting. Thank you both so much. And that's the end of my questions. So that's goodbye from us.
Amazing. Thank you very much.